all know a ninny a sandwich short of a picnic. In fact, these fools in the past were so dim-witted they were enjoyed by the whole community. They were known as the village idiot, and if you were lucky enough you could have several of these simpletons wandering your streets, tripping over raw sewage, screaming at pigeons, being with other pigeons, because they don't want to see any pigeon pornography, because there's nothing worse to a simpleton than pigeon pussy. But nowadays it's very rare you see these idiots in public. You might see the occasional one shouting at a car, or if you're lucky, throwing their still warm shit at a London bus in a Japanese tourist holiday snap. But years ago, these idiots would be sat on a wall screaming offensive profanities at passing prostitutes, and the whole town would giggle at their silliness. But nowadays, these idiots are sat at home writing offensive profanities on walls. Virtual walls like Facebook and Twitter and Jamie Oliver recipe forums. Okay, that's me that's doing the Jamie Oliver ones, but to be honest, he's retarded, and I'd enjoy watching him being raped by a giant turkey twister. But the sort of idiot I'm talking about are people like Matthew Wood, who logged into his Facebook and posted a dark, cruel, bad-tasting, sick joke about missing girl April Jones and media's favourite missing girl, Madeleine McCann. Now, 2 out of 3 of the jokes were pretty terrible, and I don't mean because they involved 2 children that are missing in sex or violence. I mean the setup was too long, the punchline was obvious. He's not ready for Live at the Apollo just yet. But he's not far away from Mock the Week with this little gem. Why would you nick a ginger girl? So you're thinking, what's the point? Some idiot did a bad joke, so? So here's the point. That idiot was arrested and has been jailed for 12 weeks for writing an I bang Maddie in the back of a transit van gag. It was sad enough when Lenny Bruce's material was read out and destroyed by a lawyer, but think how bad it must have been to have heard some awkward specky barrister mumbling through a "What's the difference between Madeleine McCann and a submarine?" Nothing, they're both filled with semen or at the bottom of the ocean. What's the difference between April Jones and a virgin? One's a virgin. Lenny Bruce be spinning in his fucking grave if it was new as hack jokes like that was resulting in Matthew Wood being arrested. Now this internet trolling tit is sat in prison with the same people that actually nicked the kids because he made light of the situation with a bit of black humour. Now it wasn't biting satire or the cleverest of jokes, but essentially he's been arrested for being and saying something stupid. And this scares me because I say stupid, hateful stuff all the time. For example, I just called Jamie Oliver retarded, and I meant it in the cliche big water-headed mong-dyed spath nipples kind of way. And I hoped he was raped by a giant turkey twister, and you laughed. Don't lie, you did. You had a bloody hard chuckle at the idea of a giant bit of processed meat that's curly like a piggy's tail raping Jamie Oliver. It made you giggle. Now some people would say joking about rape was disgusting and despicable, meaning I'd have to be arrested for about 12 weeks and go to prison, and end up most probably ironically being raped. My question is, at what point do we stop arresting stupid people? Being stupid is its own prison sentence. 1, because you're stupid, and 2, because you have to live in Birmingham. Let idiots shout their stupidity. If we don't like it, we don't have to listen. What happened to sticks and stones? Or we can use what freedom of speech we do have to shout back, "Mate, you're a fucking idiot, read a book." And then point them in the direction of Richard Dawkins. Or we could do what we used to do and not allow them on the internet, but just leave them in the street still to shout at prostitutes and pigeons and have a bloody good giggle again. But if we are going to start arresting people for saying taboo things, then we'll lose people like Jerry Sadowitz. Because he says the unsayable makes us question stuff. There's a part in every show of his where a little piece of you dies. Him shouting nigger on stage makes you realise that every time he said it you felt awkward because you turned to see if the black girl was crying or not. This makes you look at yourself in a certain way. This shock comedy, if done right, makes you reflect on society's ills, your own ills, like our own prejudices and our own bigotries and our own moral values. And if you don't want that, you might as well point at a policeman, call him a square fart pants and laugh at the idea of his daughter going missing and then being murdered by a swarm of bees, leading to your arrest. And maybe a cold, dark cell will make you realise violent language can be horrible to hear, but all it's hurting is your ego or feelings. It can be a form of escapism, and as a species we love mindless violence, and it's better to have it in the form of words on a page or a sound grunted like an animal, instead of the sound of your son's head being blown apart like a watermelon from accidentally friendly fire, who ironically died defending your freedom of expression. But what do I know? I'm just a fucking idiot.